hectic. These fellas are pretty next level, you know.
Yeah.
They live off the grid, bro, and they, when I was there anyway, you didn't need no WAF, no rego, no nothing, bro. The
Yeah,
truck was beaten up, everything. So it was quite awesome lifestyle there.
What's the weather like over there? Is it?
Oh, you get it 4 seasons one day there too, so like Wellington, bro.
Yeah. Is it colder, eh? Because it's sort of off the coast of the South Island.
Yeah. They're about 45 to 50 minutes behind us too, or in front of us. I can't remember, one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now
Maybe in front.
Yeah, so they got that. While I was living there, actually, we had that Cyclone Pam.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that was pretty epic. Yeah. All the crane boats just banging up and down the ocean. So now that was pretty exciting. But after that, I actually ended up down in Nelson, became a big deep sea trawlerman as well. So I did 3 years on that before I actually started my life in the concrete life. The smaller boats like Hawke's Bay Seafoods are that. A lot of Indonesian people.
Yeah.
But the big like trawlers for like Sanfords, Sea Lords, you still get quite a lot of the Maori, New Zealand Kiwis, you know, but you still get the outsiders as well. But they're still quite maintained with Kiwis, so it's good to see, bro. Most of it's hoki and ling, bro. Those are your main two type of fish that you catch.
Yeah.
Hoki, obviously, they pre-pack it, send it overseas. Obviously, ling is quite expensive, bro.
What is ling?
Ling is like this big, orange, ugly fish. They're like eels, bro. They're pretty ugly, to be honest.
Yeah.
But they can get pretty big. The biggest one I've seen is probably about that tall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that's probably about 1.7.
Yeah. If you look them up on the internet, bro,
Yeah,
it's quite amazing, you know. Biggest one is you needed to be able to not get negative on the boat, bro.
Nice.
You don't want to think, oh fuck my family, oh my language.
Yeah.
You don't want to be thinking like, you know, oh my family or this and that, because as soon as you thought like that, you'll just automatically your head starts going crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And these boats don't turn around for no one.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't when I was on there, but there was a couple on there at one time. They lied about going into their parents. Some whānau was meant to be passing away or something, bro.
Wow.
They sailed this boat back in. They got fined like 150 grand.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So it's something that you probably want to try and be single.
Yeah.
Single, or like if you've got a partner that's into it as well, like something like that, to try and get along with that life, because it's not easy, bro. 12 weeks is a long time.
Yeah,
Looking at 4 walls.
Yeah. So yeah, go on, have a look, team. Prestige Concrete Specialists, go along and follow. There's some pretty good
some content on there too.
There's some good content and good reels. I was
Yeah.
watching one of your guys, you might get you think you're going home at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, still on side. Yeah.
There's another one on there that went pretty viral actually, bro. I might as well say before we finish up, was if you look on there, did you see the one about I think we're going home in like 3 hours, and I said I'm the boss, and then one of them, I'm the concrete layer, and I was like, I can't remember, you have to watch it, but it's pretty, I can't say those words on the mic anyway.
Have you ever come across as a OTC or OTO construction up in the far north as well?
That's my brother's, bro. That's crazy. That's my older brother's business. Outback to Ocean, bro. That's actually, they've got Jermaine and all of them at the moment doing some content with them.
Yeah.
But that's my actual, Outback to Ocean, my older brother Toy's business.
How many days of prep does it normally take?
So normally on an average 100 square metre driveway, we'll try 1 to 2 days max, bro. You know, 2 days just sort of pushing it. To do a prep day and then pour on the third. So you want to be out there 4 days max.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. But we average, some days we can do a 200 to 300 square driveway in 1 day prep, but the boys can just motor on.
Yeah.
And they get it all done, so yeah.
All right, welcome to Shed Life. We're here in the shed. We're talking good Kiwis, working hard, having some fun. Today we're going to be talking the concrete life. What are the foundations of what Shed Life is built on? So I got Ken Pumpi, is that right?
Yep, that's correct, mate.
Husband, father to 3, runs a concrete business, Prestige Concrete. It was pretty funny. I was on the scroll and then I saw William Wairau involved in concrete on site with the guys. I was like, what's this dude? He's normally just opening the gates around celebrities. So I watched that and I was like, that's pretty funny. Liked the post, and then I liked Prestige Concrete because I was like, I'll give these guys a follow. They look good. Pretty quickly you came back at me and said, hey man, I'd be keen to come on the podcast and have a chat if you're keen. And I was like, hey, send me a message, let's have a chat. And it was cool. And that's it. Part of the shed, is what I think, the changing sheds, the work sheds, the wool shed, is everybody can have a chat in the shed.
Yeah, definitely. It's an awesome environment you've got here, bro. I reckon it's perfect.
Awesome. But welcome aboard,
Awesome.
brother.
Thank you very much, Jace.
Awesome. So we're talking concrete life. How did you end up with William Whiteout? Like, why was he on site with you guys? Why?
Funny story, bro. That one, we kicked it off maybe about 2-3 months ago, just before we got back into the new year. My brother's actually good mates with him.
Oh, nice.
My brother is now the owner of Prestige Concrete, and I'm the GM. In regards to that, he was like one day, oh, bro, you want to come try out some work? And he was like, oh, what type of work? And he was like, concrete work. It might be good for our foundation, you know?
Yeah.
And then my brother's like, come on, man, we'll get involved, get the boys involved, get some gear on for you and everything. And he was all for it, bro.
Nice.
He turned up on site, and obviously on that reel you would have seen he sort of let loose and just got right involved with it, bro. And he was a bit of a vibe.
Yeah.
Got the boys going, and he just crack up, eh?
Yeah. He's seems like a good dude. He's out and about everywhere. He's like Las Vegas. He's on site doing concrete.
Yeah. So when we actually got onto site, it started off with he turned up. He actually had a crash just before he got onto site, bro. It was missus' car. Hey, Will, if you see that, bro, don't get too upset about it. But yeah, he got a little bit of a car crash. Someone wiped him, but he was running late, so he made sure he turned up on time. And once he turned up, the vibe he brings the morale, bro.
Yeah,
definitely just turned up. Voila, you know.
yeah, good dude. Impresses me. He runs like minimum 10K every day for like 1,000 days or something. And it's like, whew.
Yeah, no, good, man. He's different sort. Once he actually got into the vibe, you know, he sort of same sort of thing, bro. Laid us out, told us what he was going to sort of do, how to interact with him. A couple of the boys are quite not into the camera vibe, you know. They're sort of like, oh, yeah, do we just stay over here? He's like, no, everyone's involved. But he just brought the morale real high, bro. So it was very cool to have him on site. Yeah. And like, I'll be honest, those reels they look pretty good, bro.
Yeah, wow, and that's it. It's it's worth. I say it all the time, reaching out to people, giving it a go, putting content online. Like if you guys hadn't put content online, if you hadn't put it here, we wouldn't be sitting down having a chat. If I hadn't put out content online, over the years, I wanted to head off the shed life and the shed world. So how did you end up in the world of concrete though?
Okay, concrete. It was my first job out of high school. Yeah. I was born and raised in a little place called Manurewa. Rewa hard, bro. Home of the brave, of the hardest, they supposedly say. But other than that, bro, I was about 14, 15 years old. I actually had one of my oldest daughters quite young. I was about 14, 15. I had my beautiful daughter. She's now 14 years old. I'm 29, turning 30 in a couple of weeks. Anyway, so I had to find a job pretty young, bro. Yeah. And my uncle VJ and all my cousins used to work at this place called Procon, one of the biggest commercial concrete companies in Auckland. They used to do a lot of skyscrapers and everything right in the Auckland city for Scarboroughs. And unfortunately, that's how it all started, bro.
Yeah.
Concrete life.
Can I just ask it and just let me know? What was it like finding out you're going to be a dad at 14? So you find out at 14 and then she was born when you were 15?
That was about then, bro. So I was quite in shock, obviously. I was still a baby myself, bro. 100%. It was a massive shock to my family and myself, obviously. I had to grow pretty fast. But once I grew with it, I knew that I had to try and do something about it. Yeah. As being young, it was quite a rocky path over the first 2 to 3 years. Yeah. And realising that I was going to be a dad, you know, and I had to carry on these daddy duties. So once I did that, it all worked out. But yeah, I got into the concrete life. I started doing 3 o'clock starts in the morning, finishing by 10 o'clock at night sometimes, you know, doing big commercial slabs, 1,000 to 2,000 square metres.
People want to know, why do you have to start at 3 in the morning to lay concrete?
Okay, well, especially in a commercial sort of zone, you know, you're bringing in nearly over 150 cube for 1,000 squares. So obviously there's a few loads of concrete. So 3 o'clock, you normally got it down about 1,000 squares. You got it down by 8, 9 o'clock, start finishing. And yeah, it takes quite a while to get it down, especially a big pad like that.
Yeah, because I think concrete's way more, it's like an art form. There's way more of an art form and a sculptural form to laying concrete than people would grasp, because they just see concrete and people interact with concrete like, oh, that's just this hard thing that I walk on. But when it's poured out, it's much more like sort of like clay or something, and it can be all molded into any shape. It doesn't come out as a hard, solid rectangle.
No, that's a lot of people think that, they just think concrete's hard, We just walk on it, but realistically, once it comes out of the pump or comes out of the chute, it's quite, like I said, it's like clay, it's squishy.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It becomes a art to me,
Yeah.
And I'm guessing a lot of concrete layers that can say this, it's more to an art than it is to being a job, to be honest.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I say it all the time with a good / great roofer, shed builder. Like, there's an art to doing your flashings. There's an art to all tradies. There's not enough, like people say, oh, that's artistic. One of the buzziest things I've seen is maybe a couple of years ago, Freda and I went down to Wellington and we go to Te Papa, our national thing, and we go and look at a sculpture, and the sculpture was literally like downpipe connectors all on funny angles. And I was like, this is just a really poor drain leg job.
That's pretty crack up, eh? Yeah.
But I was like, people that have got no idea consider that art. And I'm like, oh no, man, if you went and watched an actual drain layer work and how they actually do it, that is much closer to art.
Yeah, definitely.
And I definitely think that, the finishing of buildings, doing it right is like the eye for detail. That you've got to have. It's pretty phenomenal.
And the concrete game, there's a couple of different ones. You go out to a farm, and a farmer just want a farming pad, a feeding pad or something. They don't care what it's going to look like. They're after texture.
Yeah.
But then you can go to a $3 million mansion, and they want decorative concrete, So there's two different versions to concrete. Some people take it as, concrete's just for whatever walks on. But you go to obviously a $3 million mansion, for example. They're all going to be expecting to make sure that no one's walking on that concrete just about,
Yeah.
Or if you've got polished floors, for example, they're going to make sure you're walking in socks, not dirty boots.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Absolutely. And then it's the way that it's, concrete sculpted, finished, and done. But what was it like? So you're 15 years old.
Yep.
You're on site. So this isn't that long ago. This is like 2012, 2011.
Yeah, that's correct.
So what were the lessons on surviving and learning how to be on site for a young guy on site?
Well, I had to learn pretty fast. I didn't even know what a hard hat was or even hivers until then, And I was turning up. My cousins would pick me up in the work truck, and I'd be like, oh, where's your hivers, And I read, oh, shit, no, I'm not ready for it.
Yeah.
And it took me at least, I don't know, a month to click on. You've got to make sure you've always got your hivers, your hard hat, your gloves, everything ready to go.
Yeah.
But just in general, you're working with big men most of the time.
Yeah.
Especially in the game of high rises, the Steelies, the Scaffies, these boys, they go hard, So I was quite amongst it when I was quite young. So I was quite fortunate, to be honest,
Yeah.
I'll be honest, it's quite different for the generation these days. You get a 15, 16-year-old, they ain't going to touch nothing.
Yeah, I think there's such an opportunity if people are young now. I would give two things a go. I would still, if people are like, oh, I can't get work. I'd give commission sales a go. That's where I can cut my teeth, and that's how I've ended up where I am. But it's just going hard.
Definitely.
There is such a demand for good, keen Kiwis. If you can get up and do the job and do the work, stay off your phone.
That's the biggest one, All that phrase, what's that phrase? I think there's that politician who says, stop sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
So we don't want to be one of those guys,
Nah. And so what sort of things did the guys expect on site from you then, from day one?
At that age, I was pretty much the guy. I was on this concrete vibrator, if you know what one of those are, bro.
Yeah.
Not one of those vibrators either, bro. It looks like a weed eater.
Yeah.
It's got a bit of a head on it about that big, bro. So I didn't know if they'll take the piss on me or what. When I first,
they said go grab the vibrator.
They said go grab the vibrator. I was like, what? What are we talking about? These guys were like cracking up, and I was thinking, hey, I was still only 15 years old, still just getting into becoming a young man.
Yeah.
So I was sort of like, what are they talking about? But then, sure enough, growing up now, there's a concrete vibrator, bro, and that's obviously it vibrates to make sure that the calcium in the concrete vibrates enough to make sure that it's all smooth and looks good, bro. Binds it all together.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. Why not? It's pretty pretty lowbrow humour, but it's pretty funny. the big concrete vibrator. And
Yeah.
if it's on it, it looks as you would imagine.
Oh, you'd hope no one would want to borrow it, like, especially if this is something. Hey, I remember it was a couple of years ago. One of the boys, they were starting to say, "Oh, bro, you want to go grab the concrete vibrator?" He's like, "Oh," he thought it was fun. He was like, "Oh, bro, I might take it home for the afternoon if that's all good. Can I borrow it?" Mate? So it was pretty crack up. Yeah.
Yeah, like, oh man, it's good. But so the purpose of it is, I suppose, as concrete gets mixed in these plants, and they mix together the sort of stones, the calcium, the aggregate is, you've got to vibrate it to get the air bubbles out and to mix it all through.
Well, it's sort of, especially in the foundations of slabs and stuff like that, you got to make sure that the vibration of it makes it all creamy.
Yeah.
And then, like, if you don't actually vibrate some of the foundations, it comes out like honeycomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you ever strip it back, you'll see all the honeycomb, and just, the client's not going to be happy if they sort of see that.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it just adds to the quality of it. And so would they have had so were you laying just the foundations for like high rises, or were you guys
so we're doing the actual pads, bro. So we're doing floors, and we'll start, your first sort of floors up to about level 5, you get a boom pump, and then they go to skip bins, bro, after that. Big skip chutes, bro, and those are hectic. If you're on that, bro, it's like so it goes onto the crane, they hook it up, take it down to the bottom, concrete truck unloads it into the skip, and it's got like this hose, bro, and it's all the crane, it's all on by like radio, and you've got to try and push it around, and it is it's hectic.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So they fill up a skip bin with concrete, and then they crane it up, and then just slightly tip it.
So what happens is it's got like a hose on the skip bin, right? At the bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Then you have like someone that holds that, and they've got a big chute on it, You push a handle down, and it'll come out aside the chute, bro. It's quite interesting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's I always enjoy seeing the concrete pumps. Guys, it's pretty tough as dudes that operate. There you go. Who's out of it? The concreters versus scaffies. Who's tougher?
Oh, I don't know. It's a hard one. Those boys move too, but I'll give it to the concrete boys. The scaffies are pretty hard though, especially the mouldy boys. They probably won't like me saying that, but of course the concreters are the hardest. Definitely,
concreters are the hardest. Yeah, man. They're slinging concrete. It's good. It's So you start out on the vibrator.
That's normally the trainees.
Yeah,
sort of
that's it. I've often noticed the young guys or the apprentice type on site. He's on that one. So where do you progress to after that?
Normally after the vibrator, they'll get you onto the rake.
Yeah.
But then the rake can become frustrating for the screeder as well. So normally they'll get you onto the rake. Once they start seeing you doing good on that, then they'll be able to chuck you in behind some good screeders, Because a good screeder gets pretty hard with a young fella that don't know how to rake.
Yeah, and so explain. So the raking is the concrete's coming out of the either of the chute from the truck or
from a boom,
or from a boom, which is like they put it into this pump like a hose. And so they're doing, and so you're raking it into the corners, raking it flat. And you've got to keep pace with the dudes that are then
on the chute or on the boom.
There's a lot of teamwork that goes into running a good concrete crew.
Definitely. It's not the easiest job, and it's not the easiest type of work either. So obviously, I guess making sure the boys are in motion 24/7 is one of the biggest ones.
Yeah.
And the hardest thing is you only get one chance with concrete, bro.
Yeah, well, that was that. That's a great pun as well.
So obviously a scaffy gets they could redo something. That's why concrete's the hardest, because you try and get a slab that's been laid down and try and get back on it an hour later, it's already gone off. Well, say goodbye to that.
Yeah, 100%. That's the thing with concrete. You only get one shot to do it. Like virtually everything else, you can always unscrew it, denail it, and be like, let me get that fixed. And then once go starts, it's just game on until it's done as well. Yeah,
that's it, bro. That's it. So obviously summer just gone was one of our hardest, The heat is obviously powerful, bro. So you got to make sure you got the preservatives, all your stuff in the concrete truck to slow it down, making sure you got enough boys on site to make sure that it goes smooth. But other than that, bro, it can turn pretty messy pretty fast.
Yeah, I suppose that would be it, is in terms of the boys working in that game. You've got to be pretty reliable, because you don't want to say, hey, I'm going to need 5 guys on site today and only 2 of them turn up.
Yeah, so you do get that quite often these days, but a lot of them want to become these freelancers. That's what they call them, you know?
Oh, really? Yeah.
There's this page called the Concrete for Life page at NZ. Heaps of work, bro. Heaps of people chuck work up there. Hey, I'm after 2 freelancers.
Oh, yeah.
But then you get quite a lot of them. They say, yeah, we're there. They never turn up, bro. And then it's not the type of job you can have 2 guys to do. You have to can the whole job.
Yeah, 100%.
You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I think that we sort of get approached with that, with lower, we could just do this, we could just do that.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
like, as I was saying, I was like, I want to agree on a price now that we're going to honour in 6 months.
Yeah, no, well, that makes sense. That makes sense, definitely.
But it's the same as I want to be dealing with people that are going to be there time. And I say that all the time for us. It's like, if you're going to entrust huge sums of money for deposits and all of these things, well, how long has the company been around? And like for us, it's 20 years. So you're like, hey, we've been here, we own everything, you know?
Yeah, definitely, bro. Well established, eh?
Well established. And in the building game, and like, we'll take the responsibility for the concrete and these sort of things, but there's too many people are too trusting of guys that start building companies, like 6
definitely.
months ago or something. And oof.
Yeah. Like, it's quite scary like that, eh?
Yeah. Are they buying work? Okay, cool. And so, how long were you doing the commercial concrete for?
Well, I did that for about 2 years.
Yeah.
Until I was about 16, and then obviously I was still becoming a young boy. So I was about 16, 17. I started getting off the rails a little bit, bro. Long story. Ended up becoming a fisherman, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. My mother and my stepfather moved me over to the Chatham Islands, bro.
Really?
Yeah. 16 years old. I got shipped down to Napier, put on a long liner, and they took me over to the Chatham Islands, bro. Lived there for a year and a half.
Wow.
So I did that for a year and a half. Became a crayfisherman and just doing some commercial diving with a few of the boys, boat buoying and stuff like that. It was pretty good gig. So it was quite different to go from laying concrete for 2 years straight into that. But obviously Bornerewa, it's quite a troublesome place, and I was just getting a little bit slack on what I was trying to do as a young boy, and at the same time I was meant to be a young father,
Yeah. What was commercial fishing like?
Oh, that's crazy, bro. Next level.
Yeah. Tell us some stories about that.
It was a little bit easier for me, obviously, because I was a young boy. I didn't know what money was, so obviously I went out to sea. Most of my time I'd be doing 12 weeks on, 6 weeks off.
Okay.
Over in the Chathams, I lived there. I was in a fish factory at the start with a guy called Peter Thomas. He owns Moana Seafoods over there, and Waitangi Seafoods. He was a bit of a guy there. So, so he looked after me while I was there. Became a fisherman.
So you started off in the factory. So they bring the
fish. More like scrubbing the floors.
Got to start somewhere.
I started scrubbing the floors and picking up all the old frames, mate. That's what I started on.
Yeah, nice.
And then slowly got a knife, and then start filleting, and then the other time I was shelling kinners, bro. So so if you ever look up the Chatham Islands, bro, you might already know about it. It's quite an interesting place.
Yeah, man. So tell us about the Chatham Islands.
Chatham Islands, bro, they're all Moriori people.
Yeah.
There's about 500 people when I was living there, bro, and the population, hectic. These fellas are pretty next level, They live off the grid, bro, and they when I was there anyway, you didn't need no WAF, no rego, no nothing, bro. The truck was beaten up, everything. So it was quite awesome lifestyle there. There was only one cop on the island at the time, and at that time when I was there, I was quite young, so I'd get pulled up, mate. He'd just follow you home.
Yeah.
After the night at the pub,
Yeah.
They probably don't want to see us saying that, but no, that's still what's happening. These days they've gotten a lot stricter now, so a couple of my good bros over there, they've been pinged finally. So, but no, it was an awesome experience, bro.
Yeah.
So I did that for about a year and a half.
Is there a Moriori sort of culture still going on over there, or how was it? Because when
I was living there, it sort of was like I don't know. There is Moriori still quite there, but there's not many of them left, the full Morioris. So I'm not sure how it all works, but I did know a little bit of a story that they try to keep the bloodstock going. But I think one Kazi becomes the other Kazi, but I don't know how it all found out anyway. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's because they were. My understanding, and I only have this is shed life. This is bro science. You know? is they were an original Māori tribe, and they go and settle over there. You know, like, so they're not you get these people like, oh, but the Moriori's were a separate, race. It's all sort of part of the Polynesian migration. But they spent like 500 years, maybe longer, living in complete peace. They sorted it out amongst themselves, and they renounced violence. Which
crazy,
is, it is. It's crazy because it's so unusual for any humans to do it. Definitely. Humans are savages by and large. Like whether you're Māori, Irish, Russian, whatever, savages.
Definitely. Like, that's what I mean. I was quite, they settle things pretty, like, if they got a problem with someone, like family even, they settle it out on the spot,
Yeah.
So they know how to keep it pretty strict over there.
Yeah.
It was quite hard for them to bring in outsiders too. I learned a bit, like myself, the hard way.
Yeah.
I thought I could sort of bring what I had going on in Auckland and Rewa over there, and sure, nah,
not interested.
No way. They taught me a bit of a lesson when I was there anyway, so it was quite funny.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What's the weather like over there? Is it?
Oh, you get it 4 seasons one day there too, so like Wellington, bro.
Yeah. Is it colder, Because it's sort of off the coast of the South Island.
Yeah. They're about 45 to 50 minutes behind us too, or in front of us. I can't remember one or the other.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
maybe in front.
Yeah. So they got that. While I was living there, actually, we had that cyclone Pam.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that was pretty epic. Yeah. All the crane boats just banging up and down the ocean. So, that was pretty exciting. But after that, I actually ended up down in Nelson, became a big deep-sea trawlerman as well. So, I did 3 years on that before I actually started my life in the concrete life when I was an older boy.
Yeah, okay. So, what was... so what was it? So 12 weeks on a fishing boat. How many people on the fishing boat?
So it was a factory boat. It was one of Tally's boats, Amateur Enterprise. We had about 42 staff on there.
Okay.
So there would be a couple of skippers, the first mate, bosun. So there was quite a deck crew, and then it had a whole factory underneath it. So we'd process out at sea. Yeah. So we would normally be targeting hoki, ling sort of fish.
And so they just sort of big drag nets and behind it?
Yeah. So we got some big trawler doors, and these trawlers could probably ton anything from 35 to 50 ton at a max capacity.
At one time?
At one time, like if we had a good catch, bro, you'd be hauling in a big
so
one.
You'd be bringing in 35 to 50 ton of fish. Crazy.
Yeah. One straight on deck, both.
Boom. And all sorts in there?
All sorts. So but our main target was hoki.
Yeah.
Hoki season, you'd be most of the time just have hoki, but you'd still get a bit of bycatch in there.
Yeah, because you can't really bring the hoki up and say, hey guys, it'd be cool if you'd all hang out.
Hang out here today, we're going to come and scoop you all up.
Don't invite your friends, strict hoki only.
But most of the time, like the skippers were pretty on to it, They get paid the good dollar. They knew where their grounds were, bro. They would pick up and would be sweet for the day.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I always think people are so, I don't know what's quite word for it, picky in New Zealand or negative sometimes about everything, is it would be great for our kids and people to be able to see all the cool things like being a fisherman, concrete life, shed life, so most kids, I'm sure you are the same, is grow up thinking the only jobs that are really out there is maybe, I could be a cop, a teacher, a doctor, because those are only people and maybe what your parents do. Without realising, hey, there's all these cool jobs out there. It's like we might watch the world's deadliest catch or something.
Yeah.
But Kiwis don't realise that we've got that going on in our,
in our own backyard, bro. Yeah. Yeah, so we're quite a fortunate country, I reckon. Well, I was quite lucky enough to experience it as a young boy.
Yeah.
Obviously, it was to an opportunity. So,
what sort of either skills but also attitude did you have to bring to be able to survive and then do a good job on the boat?
Biggest one is you needed to be able to not get negative on the boat, bro.
Nice.
You don't want to think, oh fuck my family, my language.
Yeah.
You don't want to be thinking like my family or this and that, because as soon as you thought like that, you'll just automatically, your head starts going crazy, bro.
Yeah.
And these boats don't turn around for no one.
Yeah.
I think it wasn't when I was on there, but there was a couple on there at one time. They lied about going into their parents. Some whānau was meant to be passing away or something, bro.
Wow.
They sailed this boat back in. They got fined like 150 grand.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So it's something that you probably want to try and be single.
Yeah.
Single, or like if you've got a partner that's into it as well, like something like that, to try and get along with that life, because it's not easy, bro.
No.
12 weeks is a long time.
Yeah,
Looking at 4 walls.
Yeah. And that's it. So do you share a little bunk room with someone?
Yeah. So you got a bunk room, and most of the time you'll do one shift on, one shift off.
Yeah.
And when you just swap in between, bro. So yeah, you got a 5-star chef on there though. Especially Tallies, they're pretty good with producing the good kai.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not just fish you eat out there, you know. They got bloody 5-star breakfast, but it's amazing.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
What do you do though on the downtime as they have like
Sleep.
sleep?
You work 24/7 around the clock.
Yeah.
No days off, no nothing. 6 hours on, 6 hours off, bro.
Really?
Downtime, if there was no fish coming in, you'd get a little bit of leeway, but otherwise you're doing chores around the boat, bro. You're cleaning the boat, or you're making new trawls, you're fixing nets. There's a lot to do, so yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so then is it just like a salary, or do you get paid by the hour, or how does that work?
So what happens is you get a weekly retainer,
Yeah.
and then you'll get a percentage of the catch at the end of the
Oh,
trip.
nice.
So you'll do 6 weeks, go in, 2-day unload, and then you'll come back out for another 6. So you'd always get a bonus after every trip.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. So did that off the Chatham Islands. That's cool. And then Nelson.
Yeah, so that's when I jumped on those big boats, was down in Nelson.
And so they're bigger. How many?
Yeah. They're pretty big boats, yeah.
And so are most of these staffed by Kiwis, or is it now like Asians running the boats?
The smaller boats, like Hawke's Bay Seafoods, are that a lot of Indonesian people.
Yeah.
But the big like trawlers for like Sanfords, Sea Lords, you still get quite a lot of the Maori, New Zealand Kiwis, you know, but you still get the outsiders as well. But they're still quite maintained with Kiwis, so it's good to see, bro. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. Like that sort of thing is like, you know, it'd be just great. I was having a good chat. Shout out Coach Sean. He's just smart boxing coach, and he's like, man, he's been listening to a few podcasts and we're just discussing. It's like, maybe we should just take advantage if we live in an abundant country and like fish our fish, you know, mine our mines. It's like, I'm sure you're the same. I've got so many mates and family that have gone over to Aussie to mine.
Yeah, no, well,
and everyone talks it up, and I'm like, we've got gold on all our hills. We've got it. Why don't we just take it out of our hills? Like,
well, we can.
Yeah.
I'm sure that that Minister Shane Jones is doing that. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, well, that's it. I'm back at it. It's like, do it right. But I mean, it's not 150 years ago. We're not going to be pouring all this stuff into the rivers. It'll be
definitely
done right. You know, do it right.
Yeah.
But let's get Kiwis working in our own country.
Yeah. No, that sounds way better than most of them are going to Aussie these days, you know. But there's plenty here to offer. You just got to get out there and get it done.
Yeah, 100%. Let us get in there and build the wealth in our own country.
Good.
So, what are they catching on the deep sea boats?
Most of it's hoki and ling both. Those are your main two type of fish that you catch.
Yeah.
Hoki, obviously, they pre-pack it, send it overseas. Obviously, ling is quite expensive, bro.
What is ling?
Ling is like this big, orange, ugly fish. They're like eels, bro. They're pretty ugly, to be honest.
Yeah.
But they can get pretty big. The biggest one I've seen is probably about that tall.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So that's probably about 1.7.
Yeah. If you look them up on the internet, bro, it's quite amazing, you know.
Yeah, cool.
But otherwise, those were the main two fish that would target. And then I think it was about 2015.
Did you ever get like the whales or dolphins cruising around?
You'd get them cruising around, yeah, but you'd never pull them on board.
Oh yeah, but that's good. Smart. Shout out to the whales. But did you see them? Yeah, did you
get the Chinese fellas that were fishing next door?
Yeah, the Japanese might have snuck a few. But yeah, did you get any of those sort of cool or crazy things happening out at sea, like pods?
No, you'd get massive loads of whales and dolphins cruising through all the time.
Yeah.
So you'd see that quite often, but you know, most of the time our heads down, bro, just working.
Yeah, just working. Nice. Yeah. It wasn't the Titanic. You weren't there on the thing, like looking at.
We weren't no P&O cruises, bro. I wish I was, but sometimes I thought, fuck, I'll be on a different boat.
Yeah. And was it dry on there, or would they have alcohol on it?
Yeah, no alcohol, no drugs, no nothing, bro.
Nice,
you get drug tested when you'd go in.
Yeah.
Alcohol. Maybe at Christmas time you'd be allowed 2 beers.
Oh.
So if you sailed Christmas, you'd get 2 beers on Christmas, bro. So you'll pretty be lucky, yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, so that would be 5. So you're at roughly, what, 2021?
No, I was a bit, so it might have been...
When you're finishing up the fishing?
Yeah, it would have been about then. Maybe 2019.
That's 7 years.
I did a year and a half over the Chathams, did about 3 years on the deep sea trawlers. So nearly 5 years.
Right.
So I started that year, they're about right. So I'd been about 19, 20 years old when I got back in.
Yeah.
And then, the last 9 years I've been a concrete man.
Nice.
And so what happened was I had my oldest boy,
Yeah.
and I said to myself, oh no, I'm not doing this fishing anymore.
Yeah.
So I saved out about 50, 60 grand, and I had my first crack at a concrete business up in the far north.
Yeah.
KP Concrete, but unfortunately due to COVID...
How far north?
I was based in the Bay of Islands, Kirikiri.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I'd cover Kirikiri up to Kaitaia, and from Kirikiri down to Whangarei.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did that for about 2 to 3 years, and then COVID hit. I think it was around then. I was going through the COVID times anyway, so it was getting pretty hard, but had a little bit of an up and down. And then I thought, stuff it, I'll move down to the Waikato. Came back down by the missus and kids whānau, and we've been here ever since.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I imagine that we send a few kit set sheds up there and that, but it's pretty sparsely populated, the far north.
Yeah,
there's not a lot of people around, and there's big distances to travel. So
Yeah.
you're not
Do you get many sheds up there?
Yeah, we sell a few up there.
Yeah.
Because there's a fair few people go up there for the lifestyle.
Yeah, but sort of like Mangawhai, eh?
Yeah, Mangawhai does it. Yeah, and a fair bit up in like that Kirikiri, Kaitaia and that.
Yeah.
So there's a bit going on there, but it's not the same as what you got going on down
it's
around
pretty
Hamilton.
cool though, eh? Like based in the Waikato, but you distribute all around the country.
Yeah, all around the country we'll send kit sets to people. From sort of Invercargill, Tiana, all around down there. Yeah,
that's amazing, eh?
Yeah, well, because we're not, we can project manage and do it if it's within a couple of hours of here.
Yeah.
But we can just deal with all the architects, engineers, all the suppliers and everything for them. So it's pretty cool. So someone might be in Kaitaia or in Invercargill and they don't know it, so they can get in touch with us. They'll watch it, they'll know who we are, and then they can trust
So how long
it.
has it been operating for?
This will be our 21st year in July.
Wow, yeah, that's well and truly established, eh? To be able to do something like that, eh? That's pretty awesome.
And so, got the full crew of different people that can do it. And so people can draw up the dream shed and that, and then we can just make sure they get everything they need and the support for it.
Cool. Do you have your own different contractors that you use all around the country?
Yeah, these days we're just working it through, but Smith & Sons. They have a nationwide network of builders. And so we're working and training those guys up and that, so that we checked it out. They're all LBP, good Kiwi builders and carpenters, and we've done a few projects with them. I've actually got them working on my home at the moment.
That's good.
Is so that people have got an option. It's like, hey, look, you might be in Whangarei. Here, have a chat to them. You could be in Christchurch.
Oh,
good. All of these, and they know our system. They know how it works.
That's very good, eh?
Because that's the same thing as it's worth discussing. Is there's lots of good tradies out there, but there's also lots of dodgy tradies out there.
There's heaps of cowboys out there too, eh, bro? So, it becomes a bit of a grind. So, no, that's so cool.
Sweet. So, what do we want to talk? So, concrete life up in
the far
north. Yeah, what was that? Any wild dogs on there? That's what everyone hears about.
The biggest one up in the far north was, I don't know, it was the hardest thing. You had to travel all the time, bro, to get a job done, you know?
Yeah.
It was like 1 to 2 hours, you know, going out the bush or you're going out there. And so it's quite different compared to being down here in the Waikato. You're pretty surrounded by jobs around the town, plus you've got the outskirts as well.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, so that's what was major up there, but... other than that, it was pretty straightforward, bro. I just made sure I was still quite young, you know, so I had to get into it and just try and knuckle down and figure it out.
So for someone just starting out and giving it a crack in the business, like, what did you do first? Did you buy the gear? Did you set up a website?
I just got a cheap setup. I was quite fortunate that my parents had a good mate that helped me out. He got me sorted, and he owned a housing company, and he pretty much just said, here you go.
Nice.
I'll get you your basic setup and help you through it and give you the work and just try and grow yourself and make sure you can pull it out on the other end.
Yeah, and so did you have to have staff straight away?
Well, I had myself and one other.
Yeah.
But then I just contracted a couple of extras in whenever we needed to pour the concrete, you know?
Yeah.
So I pretty much obviously knew how to prep and stuff when I was quite young, when I was doing it with the other company that I used to start with when I was a young fella, which was Procon. So other than that, I didn't have digger schools. That was one thing I didn't. So we never used to do dig outs and that. We used to get digger, like, contractors come in and help us out, you know?
Yeah.
But until that all happened, I was pretty much, about a year into it, and I figured, we can do this all ourselves.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And so then how did you end up learning how to drive diggers?
So what happened was I first got my job where a digger operator didn't want to come, which was Russell.
Yeah.
You might be Russell, is eh?
Yeah,
the Duke of Marlborough is?
Yeah.
So I got my first job over in Russell, and you have to cross the ferry, and it was just quite hard for me to find a contractor that I knew on the other side of the island to come over.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to have to do it myself.
Yeah.
So I actually took the risk and did this driveway, but it was about 300 squares too, and the owners weren't too impressed. I'll tell you that. It was probably the last job I did at Russell for a long time anyway. So I just started playing on them, bro, doing little dig outs here and there, and then eventually I just got the hand for it. Now I'm not too I'm not too bad on the digger.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, you got to have time in the saddle, eh?
Yeah, definitely not just a couple of weeks and trying to pull it off on a 300 square metre driveway, mate.
No.
Especially when it was about like that. I was like, oh no, this person was like, you got your blade on, just telling me what to do. So that wasn't the best look.
No.
So yeah, I didn't look for any work over there until I found a good contractor over there. Then I ended up hiring a guy that had the expertise, and yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah. Yeah, same again. A good digger operator, man, they've got some skills as well.
No, definitely.
That's cool. Yeah, and so Waikato, how did it get, so you just came down here?
So yeah, I had a bit of a hiccup when I was up there, and then I decided to make the big move. My family and that, they moved back down here with her family, her mum and her sister and that, and I just chased them down here, bro. I wanted to try and get my family back together,
Yeah,
so I came down here, and another opportunity arose.
Yeah.
And I took it and made sure I could try and punch on with it. And I was quite fortunate to get another chance, bro.
Yeah.
Once again, it was a mate of my parents. And I thank that person very much. He knows who he is. For giving me this chance to do what I've done and grow. There's a couple of things I could have done different down here to make sure that I didn't punch on with it. But now we're here now, bro. Prestige Concrete's in action, full noise.
Yeah.
And we're trying to chase fellas like William Whitehall.
Yeah. And so what's one of the keys? Because you've got 7 guys now.
Yeah.
In terms of to the success of being able to run a decent crew.
Okay, so I've had a couple of workers that have gone just recently over the Christmas period, and I've just gotten a couple of new ones, but we've got about 7 lads at the moment, and the biggest one is you need to make sure you've got enough work to maintain them.
Yeah.
Because the biggest one is you don't want about 10 of them, or like 7 to 10 people on one side, they're just not even, 2 of them are just sitting there watching the others, Yeah,
100%.
So we're quite lucky. We've got a couple of good contracts that we're doing at the moment, and I've got about normally three on each site.
Yeah.
And they're both doing full prep and lay, and obviously I'm the 7th guy at the moment, and I'm normally out there punching the quotes and just making sure, checking on the boys.
Yeah, nice.
Most of the time I just try and get on the pour days as my main focus, pour days, and making sure the prep's all good. So
Yeah, and so how many days of prep does it normally take?
So normally on an average 100 square metre driveway, we'll try 1 to 2 days max, bro. 2 days is sort of pushing it. To do a prep day and then pour on the 3rd. So you want to be out there 4 days max.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. But we average, some days we can do a 200 to 300 square driveway in 1 day prep, but the boys can just motor on.
Yeah.
And they get it all done. So yeah.
Yeah, that's I suppose weather, time.
Weather's a big one. We're coming into winter. It's going to be a little bit, rocky because obviously you get rain, you can't dig up, otherwise you're going to get a mess.
Yeah.
So it all comes into factor now. But other than that, no, it's pretty good down here at the moment.
So what's the ideal weather for a concreter?
I reckon you want to try and get not too hot, because too hot you can go the other way as well.
Yeah.
It goes off too fast and then you're losing it.
Yeah.
So I reckon overcast day, not too much wind, you're going to have a good steady breeze through the job, bro.
Yeah.
Guaranteed.
What about 18, 20 degrees?
Yeah, that's about good. That's about good, mate. But 25 up, mate, you better hold on.
Yeah.
Make sure you bring your water and your singlet for the day.
Yeah, nice. We were saying earlier is you sponsored a few of the local fighters as well. So was that a marketing thing, or how did that come about? And how have you been helping out?
The way it happened, bro, is that when I first started getting my haircuts, I'll give them a little bit of a shout out too, bro.
Yeah, bro. I love shout outs. Shout out everyone.
Yeah, well, fresh cut barbers, bro. They were pretty good, you know.
Yeah. Whereabouts are they?
Chartwell. There's one in Chartwell, Rototuna, St. Andrew. They've got a few down here.
Yeah.
A couple of the boys, Omar, Ali, they were the first fellas that cut my hair when I moved down here, bro. So I used to just go into the barber shop after work. I was just, sweet, get a fade up, and then there was this one day I realised they're fighters, you know. They fight at the TMT gym in town, and they're talking about this guy called old Titus Proctor.
Yeah.
And I was like, they were saying, yeah, bro, he's gonna make it, you know. And I said, how do I get in contact with this fella, you know?
Yeah.
I said, I've just got a bit of opportunity, I better sponsor them.
Yeah.
And that's how it all happened, bro. I got involved. I got in touch with Titus Proctor.
Yeah.
But look at him now. He's the next biggest thing, bro. He's doing really well, you know.
Yeah, man.
He's over at one championship. He's had his first fight. He was meant to just have one, but for some reason he just unfortunately couldn't fight over the weekend. So, yeah.
Yeah, he's been doing phenomenal.
He's been doing amazing, bro. King of the ring. He's he's won every fight, never lost. So, sponsored him. Also did Pikiao. He's also from TMT. And then I also did his sister, Bubba. Title of Bracken, they're the Bracken whānau, so they're wicked fighters, bro.
Yeah.
You probably know a couple of them too from that TMT gym.
Yeah, I would have seen them. Might have fanned. That's it. There's so many good fighters coming out.
Yeah, there's one to look out for at the moment.
Yeah.
So my brother just sponsored Takaman Armstrong. He just won that the last the King of the Streets.
Yeah,
100K.
Yeah, nice.
So we're sponsoring for King of the Ring, bro. So yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty. Well, you were saying that was when you first saw Shed Life come across, as we had Francis Whiteye when he won King of the
that's sort of how I came across you guys as well. Sort of like, the Shed Life, what's that? Yeah, 1 minute scraps, and then I found out you were you train and fight as well.
Yeah, just train now. Just train. I got to protect what few cells left up there.
That takes a bit of a beating I've heard.
Oh yeah, as you get over it. But yeah, man, I've always appreciated what Dan Hooker's done with the.
Amazing, bro. He is he's an icon, bro. Definitely.
Yeah.
You know, it's to give people, some of them, they don't even fight, bro. Give an opportunity like that, should be pretty amazed.
Yeah.
Well, if I was pretty good at fighting, I'd be in there too, bro.
Yeah, I think it's just cool. People diss it, but he comes up with these cool things. He promotes it. People get paid. They bring, it's
Well, even some of them,
promotion.
Get a bit of a bonus just for knocking one out, even if you don't win the series. So can't complain.
Nah, not at all. And so what's the plans for it going forward?
Well, going forward, Prestige Concrete, we're looking to just punch on with this year and try and grow a bit more down here in the Waikato region. Hopefully grow with some of your sheds. That would be awesome, bro.
Yeah, man. See what I can do.
But otherwise, we're just looking to grow the business and just try and hammer down with locally owned homeowners, business owners, and try and make sure that we can get through this.
Yeah. And then, so how are the kids going now?
Oh, well, the kids are pretty good. My oldest fellow, my oldest daughter, she lives in Auckland still with him. Unfortunately, I didn't say that part, but I've got two different mothers to the kids. So they live in Auckland. She's about to move over to Australia, April, I think the 11th or something, and they're going to go have a try over there with their whānau that they have now.
Yeah.
But my oldest boy is at Rototuna Primary. He's kicking off a storm. He loves it down here, so it's good. He's back with his mother's whānau and gets to see his cousins and all that. And then my youngest fella, Toa, he's a daddy's boy, just cruises around with me most of the time, bro.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's a great place to raise the family, the Waikato.
Well, I've never been to the Waikato until I met my partner, bro.
Really?
Never, no.
Just Northland and Auckland?
Just Northland and Auckland. Never went past Auckland unless I was going to a tangi for the whānau that I had down the line. So, which was normally a sad reason, you know?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of people that move to Australia that don't realise that there's a huge amount of opportunity an hour south of Auckland. You know,
definitely. That's what I mean. There's a lot going on down these ways.
Yeah, man. And housing's not that expensive comparatively to Auckland. Like
Auckland's outrageous, bro.
yeah, like we're talking Morrinsville. You guys are laying lots of new slabs for new houses down there. But Morrinsville, you're getting a brand new place for 800K, you know.
Well, that's good. You know, you go to Auckland, you get in a state house for that, profit $1 million.
Yeah, if that. You know, like, yeah, there's heaps of jobs. It's a growing, So there's just this narrative in New Zealand that like it's sort of over for the country. And you're like, it's not at all, man. It's,
who were you born and raised?
I was born and raised Devonport over on the shore side. Lucky my old man was
Was in the Navy.
He was in the Navy.
Wow.
He joined the Navy at like 15 or 16.
Did you have a baby at 16 by any chance?
No, he didn't. He would have been late 20s or something. But he was just courier driving. My mum worked when she wasn't looking after heaps of kids, just at the supermarket. It was cool. I was very lucky, I believe, because I just had a working class family.
Yeah.
But I got to growing up in the 80s and then the 90s in Devo. Yeah. Is I got to see a lot of these other families that had sort of moved into the area or going to take a pentagram. Real well-to-do and, you know, real opened my eyes to the world. And also, I really get, and to be honest, the difference in the expectations. If I'd grown up in Manurewa, I would have just been... I don't know, you know, what it would have happened, but I certainly wouldn't have been as expected to go to university. Like, I just thought that everyone went to university. When I went to high school, I was a smart kid, you know. Got into lots of trouble, enjoyed having a laugh and all of these things. But I thought it was just normal that people went to university because that's what the culture was. And then I realised, and that's been, I think, people, knowing so many people and talking to so many people was people on the right side of the tracks often just don't grasp what's considered normal.
Well, that's it.
And then people often on the wrong side of the tracks also don't realise how wrong some of is what they consider, you know, like what both worlds consider normal, and there's a little bit in the middle, but it's so growing up in there and it was cool because we had mates that Navy kids, a fair few beneficiary kids, because there was still a lot of state housing around Belmont and Bayswater and that in there. You know, so I played league when I was a kid. You know, so I'd always loved the North Shore Albions. They've shut down now and then went to rugby. But, you know, so there was a pretty strong working class.
Definitely. But I'll be honest, when I was over in Rewa, I was always knowing the shores all the rich guys, you know. Like, you know, if you got over the shore, you got invited to one of the shore parties. You take your best dress, bro, because you might be lucky, you know.
Man, it's a shore. And the shore is that, because I had a stint. I lived in Rewa for maybe 18 months. I lived in Clendon Park. My son. My son, because my first door-to-door sales business went really well, but then that failed when I was in my mid-20s. And then we moved from Wellington back, and we stayed there, so we had a rental out Clendon. We lived out there. And my little boy Mike, who's now off at uni, but he went to...
We're down Weymouth End.
Weymouth End.
Oh, that was still the flash side, though.
It was still the flash. I was on the flash sort of side of Rewa. But my neighbours still had ankle bracelets on.
That's great.
Weymouth.
Hey, why can't you come past the letterbox? That's cool, man.
But Weymouth, I made Mike hard. His first day at school, super skinny because my wife Frida, she's Indian, he was, they're like, give us a, tried to get his lunch, but Mike was obsessive with boxing and he was already trained up, so gave him a crack, like, you can have your lunch and you can be mates with us. So,
it's pretty cool, wicked.
So he let it down. He didn't play but that's why I always know Rewa hard, because it was all over everything.
Well, how come you didn't last there very long?
I moved back to the shore. I was like, I knew, so we did well. And then I just got an opportunity. We moved back to the shore. And then that was cool. And then from the shore, I moved down to Hauraki Plains about 12 years ago. Because my old man said, hey, I'll help you out. It was pretty sad. His wife, he'd had a couple of wives, but his wife passed away. and she'd left it with cancer, and he raised our adopted sister Ori. He's like, I don't know what to do. He said, why don't we buy a house together? Because I had the money, I was earning enough that I could probably help service it. He had the deposit, so we bought a house together in Chatswood. Classic, worst house, best street. Smartest move you make. So 2008, the markets. No, we bought in 2010. So 2008 it collapses. 2010, like we bought what would be considered like a McMansion for like 600k. And then we flicked it for like 900k maybe a couple of years later. But that gave me just enough deposit and a bit of money, and I'd done a few things. Bought our little 5 acre just with a ramshackle farmhouse on the Hauraki Plains, and then I've been here ever since. I'm still just doing it up endlessly. But it's been just awesome. It's the difference living on the Hauraki Plains, which is just a small community. You sort of know everybody. Everyone gets to know you. Do you all wave at each other when you drive past? Oh, 100%.
Because you go to a couple of towns, even in New Zealand, that's what the Chathams were like too, bro. If you didn't wave, they knew that you're not a local, bro. So the next time your car would be probably getting rammed.
Well, that's it. Well, my ute says Jace on it. Well, I said ShedLife, so people know it. But I always appreciate, I always say to someone, it's fun. You can go and see, you know the people at Foursquare, you know the people at Hammer Hardware, and so all the kids. It's a bit tough because you're like, Jazz, my daughter, we had a big St. Patrick's party at home on Saturday night, and so there's about 70 kids there having a good time. But man, you're like looking at them and you're like, you guys were just little kids. 12 years ago, you were only 5 years old. You're all starting school. What are you all doing?
That's awesome.
Stop drinking.
My daughter's just turned 14, and it's giving me, it's starting to give me grief at the moment. I'm starting to think what's going to happen in another 3-4 years.
Oh, I know. Well, you've always got to remind yourself, oh no. They're just a little version of you.
Well, that's what I mean, mate.
I know.
We don't want another version of 15, 16-year-old bloody hell. So, she's moving over to Aussie with her mum, so hopefully it'll be a good transition for her.
Yeah. Whereabouts in Aussie?
They're going to Adelaide.
Oh, Adelaide.
Yeah. So, her stepdad, he's also a concrete layer.
Nice.
So
they got some, go and lay some slabs over there.
Yeah. So he's been over there for a while already. He's set them up pretty much, and he's been hard out into it. So good for them, and happy for my daughter to go over there and try and explore what's going on over there. So
good on them.
Yeah.
But it does make me hurt that so many good Kiwis are having to leave. Like, I'm like, man.
Yeah.
Free the sheds. That is what I want to do. I want to.
Is that another kaupapa you're going to launch?
It is what I'm. I was talking to Brian, who's the founder of Waikato Sheds, and he's like, how do we sort of sell more? We've been plotting these things out. And I'm like, the number one thing is clients just don't like dealing with the unknown of the council. And there's these weird things at the moment. You can build a 30 square metre garage with no consent. You can build a 70 square metre granny flat with no consent, or a 110 square metre pole shed. But they're all pretty niche. It's like, most people don't want a 30 square metre garage. They want a 40, 50, 60 squares. And Bronick, who works here, he's had to get a council, like a consent and all the stuff for a 70 square metre garage in Pairo. But if it was a granny flat, which is a house, he didn't need it. It doesn't make sense. And I think rurally, if an engineer, if it's designed by a Kiwi engineer and it's signed off, it shouldn't need consent. It's just let people build, because farmers and dudes that want to build workshops and they just want to know, they want to come in and say, when can I get it done? How much will it cost, and when can you get it done? And definitely. If you can go, hey mate, I can build you a 400 square metre shed for, a bunch of roller doors, put your tractors or whatever in there. It'd be whatever, 200k.
I'll be honest, these days at the moment, a lot of the people try and get away just from vehicle crossings within those consented, mate. That's another one I don't get, especially in the rural areas. They don't need consent to get a vehicle cross. I personally don't, but a lot of them say, hey, what's the option? I said, well, you take the risk, they're going to want you to rip it up. So we have to go through the factor of it anyway.
Well, I mean, Bronick, he's just got an old state house. It's probably not a state house, but 60s weatherboard house on 1,000 squares in Pairo. He's building a shed down the back, and they're making him put in like a turning bay on his front of his section, because they don't want anybody reversing onto the street. And like, I get it, it's well-meaning, don't reverse over kids, but it's just like, it's just these constant added costs and paperwork.
It's quite interesting, eh?
Yeah, so free the sheds.
Yeah, free the sheds, eh?
Is because that's the thing is if we don't let people build things. I read there's $140 billion in New Zealand in short-term term deposits. So that means there's $140 billion that Kiwis own that is in 6 to 18 months things. So it's just cash that people have, and it's by and large older people and that. We need to get that cash in the hands of young people.
Yeah.
And the only way we do that is to build them things.
Yeah, definitely.
Build them sheds, build them driveways, fix things up. But so we need to them. They don't want to go through 2 years of hassle and worry. They don't want all these reports. They just want to know that they can trust companies to get it done.
Yeah, definitely.
And build it. And so
I always thought to myself, one thing that would be pretty cool, is that the government should just make everyone debt free for once.
Yeah.
And then restart. Imagine that. I think we'd be alive.
Oh, man. Well, I do think, I could go down another angle with it. I think that everything gets harder. It is. But, man, I also know some great Kiwis that are stuck overseas because they had their student loans. They got a student loan, went to uni. Sorry, stuffed around a bit. But anyway, got their degrees. And then they went to Japan. They went to Europe. And they never paid their student loans back because they're dopey 20,
of course. So now they come back to get...
now they can't. Well, now they owe 200 grand, or 100 grand. And then if they come back, they get arrested at the airport until you pay it. And you're like, I don't know. It's just... Is that really the right thing?
No.
But New Zealand has there's a strange part of our culture which we really like punishing other people. And like, sure enough, if someone's naughty, they might need to be taught, like punish.
Yeah, no, that's
do the crime, but there's a lot of
do the crime, do the time.
And that's appropriate for if you're going to be a robber or do bad stuff. But if you're just going to make poor financial decisions, it's like. The amount they always hammer beneficiaries and I'm like, oh man, they're just that girl's just trying to survive or something. If she's got a few hustles on, imagine. If you're on the right side of the tracks, you can't imagine how tough it is. On the other side of it, definitely. And it's like, Anything else? Any other sports or anything else?
The Wars, bro. I know you're a bit of a Wars supporter, as I can see.
Yeah, man, I love the Wars. The Wars are awesome.
Yeah.
There's a real business, like the last 4 years, what has it been? 23, 20, supporting the Wars. It's just been phenomenal how they're running it.
Since they named them the Wars, or like
Up the Wars.
Up the Wars came out, they have definitely been living up to it.
Well, because I read Sean Johnson's book, good book. Easy read, nice, easy read, but great story because I've been following the Wars since, as I said, I grew up in a league family, and so my old man was always in the Wars. We liked league before. I remember going to Carlaw Park when I was a kid and running up and down the hill behind the goal line and hearing words said with a fever I'd never quite heard. It was like, it must have been, God knows, it would have been, I wanted to say Balmain, it would be like the Northcote Tigers or somebody was playing and they must have had a try scored against them and their captain was just giving the team a serve. And I was just like,
these days in the NRL, you'll be stood down for 6 weeks.
You wouldn't get away with what that dude was saying to his team. But it was just a great place,
That's another one. I used to play a bit of footy, and now that just put back. Remember, my grandfather used to be my coach, bro. I used to get the worst, bro. Seriously, he'd be at the end of the try line, mate, telling me to get there. If I wasn't getting there, I'd be making sure I wasn't getting there after the game either. I'd be in the car off with the net. I was like, no way. But the Wars, bro, very good, very good.
Yeah, man, they're cool. It's just nice to see them. I like watching. It's so cool that they're winning some games, but even when they're not, I like that they interact with the fans. They love the
environment
fans.
is crazy up there as well. Like they've got a good backing, good fan base. Like I think they've really grown it too.
Yeah, well, they've created the sense of belonging.
Yeah,
and they've created the sense of, like, I was there on Friday night and it was phenomenal, man. When
Oh, bro, I was actually watching the game with. I invited my family over for a bit of a barbecue. There, we're having a kai, and I ended up going to bed after half time, mate. And then I could just hear all this cheering and everything. So I missed out. To be honest, I had to watch it all the next day. But what a score, eh?
What a score, man! No, it was so cool. Yeah, we got it. Me and my brother were there. We were watching it with a few other friends, and 6-6 half time. And we're just like, oh, well, it'll be what it'll be, you know, all the best. And then that second half, to put 34 points on the Raiders in the second half, it was just starting, going off.
What did old mate look like, the coach from the Raiders? Normally he gets pretty hectic.
He was pretty gutted. He was down on the sidelines, sitting in the rain, watching them. He looked like he wanted to be anywhere. When the fans started doing the Viking clap back at the Raiders.
I like that one I just seen down the write-up the other day of old, what's his name, mate? The Warriors guy.
Oh, Cameron George, the CEO. Giving
the crying baby in the big mana wave, eh? That was pretty funny, giving it back to the mate. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, man.
Especially the first upset of the season. So that's pretty good.
Yeah, man. It's cool. It's cool to support the Warriors. Yeah. They're awesome. I feel like. And I just love being in, we've just got some season tickets. We're just in the nosebleeds up the top. But I love it. I love just being a part with everybody, cheering away and having a good time.
You get down to the Chiefs too, do you?
Yeah, we go to and try and watch the Chiefs, Waikato Rugby. I try to get around everywhere, really.
Awesome, mate.
Awesome. Support the teams. It's just fun. There's something, lots of people, like the Wilds are super popular, but Kiwis have sort of lost the fun of just going along and enjoying live sport and just watching the game unfold.
No, that's it, definitely.
And supporting the crew. So it's very cool. Awesome, my man.
Thank you very much for having me there, mate.
No worries. Thank you, my man.
It's been awesome,
Thank you,
mate.
Ken.
But a pleasure. First one I've ever done in my life. It's quite it get a bit tense, bro? But it's been awesome. So I really do appreciate coming on to the Shed Life, bro.
No worries. And if people want to find out more, where will they find you? Where do they best
Instagram, Facebook. Jump on there, Prestige Concrete. So
go on, have a look, team. Prestige Concrete Specialists. Go along and follow. There's some pretty good...
some content on there too.
There's some good content and good reels. I was watching... one of your guys, you might get... you think you're going home at 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, still on site.
There's another one on there that went pretty viral, actually, bro. Might as well say before we finish up, was if you look on there, did you see the one about... I think we're going home in like 3 hours, and I said I'm the boss, and then one of them, I'm the concrete layer, and I can't remember, you have to watch it, but it's pretty. I can't say those words on the mic anyway.
It's some good fun. There's some good fun concrete. Have you ever come across as a OTC or OTO construction up in the far north as well?
That's my brother's, bro. That's crazy. That's my older brother's business. Outback to Ocean, mate. That's actually, they've got Jermaine and all of them at the moment doing some content with them. That's my actual, Outback to Ocean, my older brother Toy's business.
Nice.
That's crazy that he brought that up. They right at the end. He'll probably see this and be like, far out. But that's him, mate. That's his business up in the far north. They're based in Hihi, Monganui. So, shout out to them too if you ever need anything up the far north.
Yeah, they're hilarious as well. We'll go give them a follow as well.
Yeah,
I was watching one of the dudes. He's funny as in the singlet. He's always...
Oh, the one with the long hair, the bit he's pretty crack up. Yeah, they just started bringing some good content out. So, that's cool, bro.
Yeah, man. And
it's amazing what the content can do to the business these days.
100% is... you can think of some questions, Wayne, because I'm going to come back to you. So Wayne and me have been doing this for maybe 3 or 4 years now. And just having a laugh with the content and being able to put it out there, not being too stressed. This would be my biggest business hack is just put yourself out there, on there, have a bit of a laugh, don't be stressed. It doesn't need to be perfect. It doesn't need to be
this
wrong.
Is amazing what you've done here, what you've built here, bro, straight up.
Yeah, but this has been built on the back of it used to be. Where when I sat here, we were in an old rundown fruit shop. The client would come in, I'd have to see them, I'd get up from my desk and I'd have to go and pick up the ranch sided door because the rollers would run it and move it across and ignore the leaky roof. We build great sheds.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then convincing, getting the guys on camera and just having a laugh and putting out different things. I remember the TikTok, that one. So I used to think that TikTok was just like a CCP, the Communist Party mind control or something. But then my daughter's friend Paige shouted her out. We were actually going to the Warriors together, and she's like, "You got to go on TikTok." About 3 years ago, and I'm like, And then I put a couple of videos on TikTok, but one of me on a Ngātawaria shed house just walking backwards, which is one of my skill sets for whatever reason. Is boom, 100,000 or 200,000 views.
Wow, that's crazy,
And it is.
Yeah.
And clients have seen it. They've approached us because of what they've seen on there. It's fun. We get approached by different tradies and all of it. And it often doesn't cost, you can spend a little bit on it to do it, but nothing in the realms of what it actually costs to put an ad on the radio or any of these things.
Definitely, bro.
Yeah, and just like, that's it with your brothers. I'm watching his construction
that's crazy.
business.
You said that. I was sort of like, I was like, hey, that's my brother's business. Crack up.
Yeah, and I think, that's the thing that's going on now. Is if you, we were saying it earlier, the keys to success in business, or one of them is people need to know that you exist. I used to say people got to like you, trust you, and then they'll do business with you, and those are true. But they also have to know that you're out there.
Yeah, definitely.
If they don't know you're there, they don't. None of the rest of it matters. And there's potentially they'd change it, but there's a short window where if you're in business, you can put out content for free.
Yeah.
They don't charge you to put a reel on Facebook or Instagram, and they don't charge you to put it on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then if it goes viral, you'll actually make money on it. But the more importantly is if I want to put an ad, I don't know, I'll just say in like one of the local papers. I don't blame any of them, but say a local paper. If I want to put like a little quarter-page ad in there, they want to charge me $500 to $1,000 for a little ad.
Yeah,
and all of that's going to be as like a business card. A few people will see it; it's nothing. Whereas I can go and put in something funny, like Bodo, you guys did, we did,
yeah,
and we could get 5,000 or 100,000 views.
Yeah.
And people interact, and then they remember that.
Oh, that's definitely, So, no, that's good.
So, that would just be my thing. If anybody that's listening is in business, and even if you're not, is just building a bit of a personal brand.
Yeah.
Instead of being the consumer of the content, be a bit of a creator of the content. And I know that's a common one, but it's the same as it's, instead of just being a spectator at the game, you can actually get out on the field and play the game.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's fun and people just like you reached out. I thought it was funny. You reached out. I'll support it. I think it's a pretty supportive world in the social media world.
I do appreciate it, bro, very much.
All right, Mr. Wayne Speedy, questions?
Yeah, so for a young guy who wants to get into concrete, what do you look for in
Well, I think to look for, if you're a young guy and you're keen to get in the concrete life, I think you want to look out for something, I don't know, you want to get into like a trade where you can, or go to a building site, bro, building site, hard to find, I don't know, What do you think?
Well, so if a young guy was to approach you and say, hey man, I'm keen to be a concreter, I'm prepared to come and work for you for free for a couple of days.
Oh, that's the old school way,
But that is the way. Like,
that is the way, definitely. I now understand what you're saying, bro.
If you're a dude, maybe you're an older dude, but concrete is definitely youth can be of a benefit. But if you wanted to get into the concrete game,
well, if I seen a young guy jump on, come, hey mate, can I chuck my boots on and jump in, I'd be quite amazed just by that in general, But I think biggest one is concrete is it's everywhere. It's not going to stop. It's carrying on. It's going to be building forever. If you're a young guy, you don't even know how to find it, call up a concrete layer and just say, hey, like you said, So if some young guy rang me and said, hey, I'd like to come and see what it's like, or come in for free, or work experience, whatever, I'd be quite amazed,
100%. And chances are, if you turn up and did it and you did a good job, you're probably going to go home with
Yeah, of course, definitely.
Something.
Go home with a good paycheck by the end of your, 2-3 years into it.
Yeah, man. And so, but I just think it can't be. I wanted to get into the building game. I'd done lots of different things. So I accepted, only 7 years ago, now I am, in the place that I own half of it. I accepted minimum wage and a bit of a guaranteed commission to work here because I wanted to get into building. And it's just been huge for me and huge amounts of people associated with it. Tycho, shout out, Toko, is a mate of Mark's up in Auckland. So he wanted to be an apprentice Sparky. And so this goes back, 20 years. But someone's like, if you want to be it, get out the old yellow pages and just ring them all up and say, hey, I want to be an apprentice. I'll give it a go. I'll work for free, for a couple of days. And some guy's like, hey, look, mate, I can't take you on, but I have a mate that is looking for it.
Definitely.
I like your attitude, and got him a thing that he got his apprenticeship.
Well, when we actually started building up Prestige Concrete, like to start off with, I did a bit of that, bro. I'm not going to lie. I started ringing up a couple of contractors that I could see that were busy, and mate, you're either going to get a yay or nay. So chuck a number out there and just be honest. Back to the old school way. Shake someone's hand.
Like it's just don't wait for the life to happen to you. It's just go out and you can make life happen, and it's. The worst they say is, no, it doesn't matter. You weren't doing anything. No. Like, it's honestly, for anybody that's keen to do it, it's a superpower.
Yeah. No, definitely.
And that doesn't mean, bless if you go, Waikato sheds, like I can't have everybody. But as you just keep going, you'll find it. There'll be people definitely. There, and the universe super respects the hustle, I believe. Yeah. When people are going out there and they're trying to work hard and they're hustling, that's how one of the most fortunate things is we were just running Waikato sheds. It was ticking along all right. We'd take the odd photo of a shed on our phone, and I was always like, man, I wish that I could have a drone to take a photo of sheds. That'd look sick. Yeah. And then the dude that Wayne was actually originally worked with at the time door knocked us. Yeah. So just turned up at the old fruit shop. It was like, hey man, this is what I do. I was like, oh, okay. I was just the GM there, but I was like, I didn't want to spend any of Brian's money, and I didn't want to get anything wrong. Yeah. So I was like, I don't know. And he's like, I'll do you a shoot for free.
Work it.
And I was like, shit, that's okay. Yeah. What have I possibly got to lose? Yeah. Sweet, let's go do it. Did the shoot. The sheds looked beautiful from a drone, as I imagined they would. We put them online, got huge amounts of likes, and I was like, okay, well, let's make this month to month. We had some creative differences, so we parted ways, and he actually parted ways with Wayne first, who I enjoyed. We had a great creative connection. When he moved Wayne on, I was like, well, I'm moving with Wayne.
Of course, bro.
So that worked out. That worked out fine. But if he hadn't, it's like those serendipitous moments, He reached out. I was like, give it a crack. And it worked from there. And, he would have done fine. We did fine, obviously, pay all our bills and did it. And then that's ended up right now to where we're at.
That's good.
But, it's just that hustle. It's just go out there and say, give it a crack, give it a go.
Definitely.
Yeah. Chris, anything else, Wayne?
I haven't got any more questions.
You're not keen to be a concreter. You've filmed a few concrete pours.
I've seen it. It's long hours hard work.
It can get pretty ugly some days too, especially if you decide to pour in the rain. Oh my gosh. Yeah. We've had a couple of those, the old clients pushed me and I was, no, I don't want to pour, but we've poured it and we've saved them, luckily. Yeah. But that sometimes turns pretty bad.
Or just when the weather says... Does it buzz you out, Musk? Because it must affect you even more. Yeah. It's the weather reports they don't, every year, the technology's there, and they still seem to have no idea whether it's going to rain or not.
Muck it up, mate. Yeah. No, it gets quite. I get quite annoyed sometimes. Sometimes I've rained the boys off for the day. It's going to have a thunderstorm like the other day. I think it was last week. Like Thursday or Friday, we meant to have a bad ass weather. It was only a little bit.
Yeah. I think last week Friday.
We had that tropical bloody storm meant to come through. It didn't even come through.
Yeah.
So lost of days of work.
It's a no.
Yeah.
All right, brother. Awesome. Thank you for that,
very much.
Man.
Awesome. Cheers, Jace.
Cheers, Ken.
Cool. Thank you very much. Cool.